It's Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at some old comic books going back 30 years to the Age of Apocalypse. As I continue my Review the Age of Apocalypse series covering every single issue from that original crossover event. I've already done issues 1 and 2 of all of the series from Age of Apocalypse, and I've hit that halfway point and started on issues 3 and 4 of all the books. And I did just cover the new X-Men Age of Apocalypse Alpha that just came out, and that was a pretty interesting comic book. Go check out my review of that. I'm going to be covering Weapon X number 3 and 4 here today. I think I'm going to do issues 3 and 4 of all the rest of the series. I've done issues 3 of Astonishing X-Men and Amazing X-Men. And once I do issues 3 and 4 of all the other books, I think I'll go and follow back and pick up issues 4 of Astonishing X-Men and Amazing X-Men, since those are the flagship books. And we'll kind of finish off the Age of Apocalypse. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my plan anyway. So we got Weapon X number 3 here. Adam Kubert on art. Larry Hama is the writer on this book. We've got Dan Green doing the inks and Joe Rosas doing the colors here on this book. And this cover for issue 3, it's a really cool Adam Kubert drawing. I'm not a huge fan of the coloring. Just a very blah looking color on the main figure on the artwork here. But it's a cool drawing. I love Adam Kubert's proportions whenever he draws Wolverine. It's always kind of that exaggerated upper body and a smaller lower body, kind of almost like a Savage Dragon or Hellboy kind of look he gives Wolverine. And Wolverine is supposed to be a short guy, so Kubert always does a good job making Wolverine look short and buff. We've got the cover to issue 4 here, where kind of reveals the climax of this whole series here on the cover. But I do like it. It's a cool cover as Wolverine. He's got the claws. As you can see, they're coming out of his sawed-off hand there. And it's coming out through this like metal cast that he wears on his hand. And that was not something that was really built up too much throughout this story, which was kind of the surprising thing about it. It's not even hardly mentioned at all, the fact that he's got one hand. It doesn't even come into play until the climax of the series here. And at that point, it's really just right in the last couple pages that it gets brought up. But it's kind of the most interesting thing that differentiates this Wolverine from the Wolverine in the other timeline, is kind of just the hand. Other than that, he's pretty much the same character. He's got the Reavers coming after him here. This guy's name's Deadeye, and this one's name's Mangle. And they're humans who've been cybernetically altered, so they're hunting Wolverine, or Weapon X as he's called here in this timeline. I like the first page with just the targets here on Logan. And Wolverine's able to slice up Deadeye, and then Mangle, who looks a lot like Slayback from the other timeline. I almost thought it was Slayback at first, but his name is actually Mangle. I like this page too. I really like some of the panel layouts in this book, and the just sequential storytelling from Adam Kubert is some of the best from panel to panel. That's a really fun page there. He cuts off Mangle's head. And the writing in here from Larry Hama, like I was saying, this Wolverine, it just feels like you're reading pretty much a pretty typical Wolverine book. This character, he's got basically the same voice as Wolverine in the other timeline. And he's working for the Human High Council here. He's traveling back to Wundagore Mountain, the original X-Men base. And I did cover this entire story here that's being referenced from X-Men Chronicles #1. And I did a whole review on that issue as well from the Age of Apocalypse. That's a really great issue. It covers Magneto and the X-Men's origins and Apocalypse taking over the United States. So I definitely recommend go checking out that video. Wolverine referencing some of the saddest moments in his life, and we see a gravestone here to Wanda Maximoff, the Scarlet Witch there, which we see her death in that #1 issue of X-Men Chronicles, which explains why she's not here. A lot of the most powerful people, mutants, superheroes, whatever you want to call them, from the other timeline, like Emma Frost, the White Queen, or the Scarlet Witch, they've been pretty much taken out here of the Age of Apocalypse. And another character, Captain Marvel, we meet here, but she's not Captain Marvel, it's just Carol Danvers, and Logan recognizes her as an operative. And I like her look. She's got a very extreme 90s, updated look to her. She doesn't have any of the superpowers, but she is an agent. She's got lots of guns and pouches. She's got this giant red ribbon as well. And Logan's looking for Gateway because Logan's going to be leading this armada of nuclear ships from the Human High Council out of Europe to the United States, and they're going to bomb Apocalypse's base in the United States. And Logan is leading that charge, and that's what led to Jean Grey leaving Logan as well. We see Emma Frost here. You see she's got a giant scar on the side of her head as her telepathic abilities have been taken away by Magneto, and she's joined the Human High Council here. So Carol takes Weapon X up to find Gateway, and I really like the depiction of Gateway here by Adam Kubert. Some great faces and just exaggerated, character positions, and this is an awesome splash page here of Gateway's collecting all of Logan's memories so they can kind of get up to speed real quickly. Wolverine wants to bring Gateway to help him lead the Armada since he's got the teleporting abilities. He wants Gateway to help them teleport the Armada directly to Apocalypse, but Gateway, who is kind of a pacifist, doesn't really want anything to do with that. And right at that moment here, I love this Carol Danvers face down here. Right then, they get attacked by Mangle and Deadeye, who've actually combined into one creature here, and they kind of easily thwart him. As you can see, there's like this rope down here on the bottom, or this cable down by their feet, and they just kind of pull the cable and they go tumbling down the stairs from where they came. So they easily defeat those guys. Just a quick distraction as we see Pierce, who's the leader of these Reavers, and Wolverine thought he had killed him off back in the previous issue, but he's back here again, and he's brought this other character, Vultura, with him as well. And I like this. I don't know if this character's ever existed before, Vultura. She's just kind of a minor character here, kind of, I guess, a mix maybe between sort of like Archangel and the Vulture, or just like a female version of Vulture, but I'd never seen her before. And she's dive bombs on them, and Wolverine is able to jump up into the plane where Pierce is, and he causes Pierce to lose control of the plane, as you can see in the bottom panel there. And they start having a fight on the plane. Again, I love these panels down here. We see Wolverine, and then Vultura comes through one window. Wolverine stabs her in the gut and like kicks her out through the other window. And then Pierce, who's got these giant long claws, who again, this looks like Slayback or that character, I think his name was Bloodscream. I think Adam Kubert just loves drawing characters with big giant fingers like that. Like Lady Deathstrike is another one. But Carol saves Logan, pushes Pierce out of the plane here, and they go falling, and she blows them both up. And Wolverine looking down, he's saying that was a clutch hitter coming through with a grand slam. And then Gateway says, "Oh, where's this armada, Logan?" And Logan says, "Paris." And then Gateway says, "Well, I'm not going to join it, but I'll give them a chance to convince me," basically. Fair enough. And Wolverine says, "Have to do." So a pretty cool issue with just Wolverine, and I love the Carol Danvers little cameo there as well. Some of the funnest stuff about Age of Apocalypse is these little cameos. You never know who's going to show up or like what role they're going to be in. So I really liked that. And move on to issue 4 here. Cool splash page to open up. We've got Emma Frost, Gateway, and Logan. And they're being shown all these horrible images of the Age of Apocalypse because Gateway's never really seen any of this stuff up close. So they're trying to convince him to join the Armada and join their fight against Apocalypse. Love that Logan lighting the cigar here. You get a real good close-up look of him with his wild hair. Same creative team on this issue, Into the Maelstrom. That's a nice looking title. We see we're in Paris. They've got like the Eiffel Tower here, but it's halfway destroyed. There's buildings toppling over everywhere, but we've got the Armada up in the sky there. I like the X is a nice touch to all of those. So we see Apocalypse here, and he's got his servant Rex, and they're saying that the Armada could be on their way. We see that Apocalypse is putting Pierce back together here. And so kind of the running gag, I guess, throughout this entire series is Wolverine thinks he keeps putting Pierce away, but he just keeps showing back up. This is a really cool page. I love the perspective on this drawing here. As they're above Paris, you can see the Eiffel Tower again there as they're going up into the sky. And it's got kind of that computer fade to the background as well to make it look in the background. We've got Braddock here, who actually put together all this Armada, but all the characters are kind of wondering if maybe he's working for Apocalypse because of the way he's acting. Gateway, finally, he's decided to join them, and he actually is leading the Armada by standing on top of one of these ships here. And so Wolverine goes up there to get him, telling him he needs a safety net or something. And Gateway says, "You chose a bad time to distract me, Logan." And that's suddenly where, out of nowhere, Pierce attacks again. But he's got Carol Danvers with him, who's been mashed up with Vultura. We get another double splash page where you got to turn the book sideways. Adam Kubert really loves to do these kind of double splash pages where you got to turn the book. So Pierce tells Braddock now it's time to reveal that he is working for Apocalypse. Carol shoots Wolverine in his right arm here, so that disables his right arm for the rest of the comic. So all he has is his arm that is in this metal cast that's covering up his other pair of claws. And he's trying to reason with what's left of Carol's humanity here. And then Braddock's saying he tried to fight the programming that Apocalypse put on Braddock because they actually were like mind wiping him and controlling his mind. And he says he tried to fight it, but he was too weak until now. And then he shoots Pierce, but then Pierce stabs Braddock. So Pierce falls out the window here. We see the screams. Aye. And Braddock says he was only human. So, not the last of Pierce, however. We see Carol Danvers' super ugly looking face here. She's telling Logan he needs to do what he has to do and end her. She doesn't want to live like this. He says he can't do it. His arm is all shot up. So Pierce says, well, mine isn't. And then he ends her. And he's about to do the same to Gateway. And he's kind of taunting Wolverine or Weapon X here about his arm being just a stump. And this is what I was talking about earlier, how this is kind of the first time in the whole series they've even really brought up that Wolverine's only got one hand. And he has never popped his claws out through this metal cast either. But we just see the sound effects down here. And then we actually get a couple pages of ads, so I really like the build up here. This is nicely put together as far as the comic goes. And then we see all the speed lines. This is a great double splash page here, and the claws pop out of the arm. And he stabs Pierce right through the chest here, finally taking out Pierce. We get another one of these double splash pages to finish the series, as we got Weapon X and Gateway creating this giant teleport portal, and they take the entire armada straight through to Apocalypse where his base is. Pretty awesome series here, just a great action adventure story. I was kind of surprised Jean Grey never makes an appearance after she's taken out of the book in issue 2. But you'll have to find out what happens in X-Men Omega. Do Weapon X and Jean Grey reunite? Does the Armada destroy Apocalypse? Well, this all happened 30 years ago, so you probably already know. But please stay tuned to my channel, and we'll be covering all the stuff Age of Apocalypse wise, and also all the new Age of Apocalypse comics that Marvel's putting out this coming up in the next few months. There's the new X-Men of Apocalypse miniseries coming out for the rest of the year. So lots of exciting stuff with Age of Apocalypse. I've rambled on enough. Thanks again for watching, and go read comics.